Entrepreneurial Spirit Guide Podcast. I'm Nai, the Entrepreneurial Spirit Guide, your host and guide on this spiritual entrepreneurial journey. Today, we're diving into a topic that's both exciting and intimidating for many entrepreneurs: networking. Now, I know for many, networking can feel transactional, uncomfortable, or even awkward or overwhelming. But when we reframe it as an opportunity to build authentic connections, it becomes something magical. Networking is about creating relationships that enrich your journey, expand your opportunities, and can really help to inspire growth. In this episode, we'll cover why networking is essential for entrepreneurial success, how to overcome common fears and challenges around networking, how to reframe networking from something that's transactional to relational, and practical strategies to build authentic connections both online and offline. By the end of this episode, you'll have the tools to approach networking with confidence and authenticity, turning it into a joyful and impactful part of your entrepreneurial journey. So let's get started. Let's talk about networking. Not the kind that's all about business cards and sales pitches, but the kind that's rooted in real connection. Some people are building businesses, some are, nurturing creative passions, others are simply growing into new versions of themselves. But no matter the path, the right relationships can open doors, spark fresh ideas, and offer the kind of support that helps you to expand in ways that truly matter. So, what makes networking so important, especially on the entrepreneurial journey? One thing that is important is that networking expands opportunities. Networking isn't just about who you know, it's about the ideas, inspiration, and possibilities that can come from simply connecting. Sometimes just having an open conversation with someone, no agenda, just curiosity, can unlock something new in you. A fresh idea, a different perspective, or even a sense of clarity that you didn't have before. Some of my best ideas have come from simple conversations, not pitches, not planning sessions, just sharing space with someone and letting the energy flow. I'd walk away with a new possibility or a spark I hadn't even considered before. That's the magic of connection. It opens creative doors that logic alone can't always reach. Another reason why networking is so essential is that relationships fuel growth and opportunity. Authentic connection is at the heart of meaningful growth, personally, creatively, and professionally. When we build relationships rooted in trust and genuine energy, it opens doors to collaboration, inspiration, and support that can carry us forward in powerful ways. In any journey, these same connections become the foundation for possibility. People are far more likely to collaborate with, refer, or support those they know, like, and trust. Your relationships can lead to aligned partnerships, creative collaborations, meaningful opportunities, and this can ultimately lead to long term growth. You've probably heard this saying before: your network is your net worth. And believe me, that's true. But it's so much more. If you go beyond business, it's also your support system, your creative mirror, and of course, it can be that spark that leads you to your next chapter. And finally, networking builds community. Entrepreneurship can be really lonely, but once you use networking, it can help you to find a community of like minded individuals who understand your journey. These sorts of relationships provide support, inspiration, and accountability. So let's reflect. How has networking played a role in your entrepreneurial journey so far? Or how has it shown up in your journey in general? Are there relationships, personal ones, professional, creative ones, that have helped you grow in unexpected ways? And when you look back, can you sense how your intuition may have guided you toward these connections? Think about these. Document your thoughts in your journal. Something that holds a lot of people back from connecting is fear. And believe me, it's more common than you think. Here are some common, challenges that can come with this. The first is the fear of rejection. And this is because it's natural to worry about whether someone will want to connect with you. But the reality is, most people are open to genuine connections, especially when approached authentically. So, focus on the value you bring to the conversation. Approach networking with curiosity and a mindset of giving, rather than worrying about being enough. Another challenge is what we call the imposter syndrome. You may think, oh, am I successful enough to network with this person? But remember, networking isn't about impressing others, it's about connecting. So, be honest and authentic and share your story, challenges, and aspirations. People are drawn to vulnerability and realness. And finally, awkward conversations. I mean, networking doesn't have to feel like a stiff transactional exchange. Think of it as starting a conversation with a potential friend. So, here's a tip for you: prepare a few open ended questions, such as, what inspired you to start your business? Or, what's been the most rewarding part of your journey so far? When we think about it, a lot of these fears come from old stories we've been told about what networking is supposed to look like. But when we shift the energy behind it, when we see networking as soul led and relational, it opens the door to something more aligned, more meaningful, and more true to who we are. Sometimes the idea of networking feels more draining than energizing, and that's totally valid. Many people see networking as transactional, something you do to get something. But let's flip the script. What if networking was about giving, connecting, and building relationships rather than just getting? When we shift our mindset, networking becomes less about strategy and more about energy. So let's look at a few ways this more relational approach can create real impact both in your work and your life. First, authenticity is key. People can sense when you're being genuine versus when you're trying to sell something. Authenticity is what makes networking meaningful and sustainable. So approach every conversation with curiosity and a genuine desire to connect rather than focusing on what you can gain from this potential connection. Another way is to focus on building relationships, not transactions. And this is because lasting connections come from shared values, interests, and trust, not from quick exchanges of information. So instead of asking, what can I get from this person? Ask, how can I support this person? And finally, give before you ask. Offering value builds goodwill and shows you're invested in the relationship. When I talk about value, I'm referring to advice or resource or an introduction. So here's an example. Let's say you meet someone who's navigating a challenge. You could offer that person a thoughtful resource, you could share something that helped you, or you can connect that person with someone who might offer support. Let's do a little reflection here. When was the last time you approached networking with the mindset of giving rather than receiving? How did it change the dynamic of the conversation? Take a moment to reflect on how shifting your energy and connection could open space for deeper, more meaningful relationships on your journey. Think about these and document your thoughts in your journal. We have reframed networking, and now the question is, how do we actually start building authentic connections? Remember, when we say authentic connections, we're talking about the connections that last. So, first, you can start with shared spaces. And this is important because shared interests create a natural foundation for connection. So look for opportunities to connect in spaces where you naturally align with others. Attend industry events, for example, join professional groups, participate in online communities. You can also check out local meetups. For example, if you're in marketing, join a local business networking group or an online community like LinkedIn groups focused on your specific niche. Another strategy is to use the power of storytelling in order to build trust. Stories are memorable and create emotional connections, and these can help you to connect on a deeper level. So, share your why or a key moment in your entrepreneurial journey when meeting someone new, and why not invite him or her to do the same? Here's an example of what you can say. I'd love to hear your story. What inspired you to start this chapter of your journey? A third strategy is to leverage social media for your connection. The beautiful thing about social media is that it allows you to build connections across geographic boundaries. So engage with others' posts by leaving thoughtful comments or sharing their content, or send personalized connection requests explaining why you'd like to connect. So, for example, instead of sending a generic LinkedIn request, write, "Hi, Tom. I really enjoyed your recent article on spirituality. I would love to connect and learn more about your work." A fourth strategy is to host your own networking events. Taking the initiative to create a space for connection positions you as a leader and brings people to you. So, you can host a virtual coffee chat, a mastermind group, or a small networking event in your area. The fifth strategy is to follow up consistently. And this is important because the magic of networking happens in the follow up, and without it, connections often fade. So send a personalized thank you message or email within 24 hours of meeting someone. And you can stay in touch periodically by sharing updates, resources, or simply just checking in. This is a great time to try a quick guided visualization exercise to help you visualize your dream network. Close your eyes and imagine your ideal network. Picture the types of people you'd like to surround yourself with: mentors, peers, collaborators, clients. What qualities do they have? How do these relationships make you feel? Now think about one small step you can take this week to start building those connections. Oh, that was great. Okay, I have an action step for you this week. Reach out to one person that you'd like to connect with for the first time, or reconnect with, or get to know better. Share something meaningful, whether it's a resource, encouragement, or simply your gratitude. We are just about to wrap up, so let's reflect and take action. Think about your current network. Are there relationships you'd like to strengthen or new connections you'd like to make? What's one step you can take this week to build an authentic relationship? Then this week, take that step you thought about to build that authentic relationship. And after you take that step, think about how it made you feel. I would love to hear your networking stories. So share a connection that's made a difference in your entrepreneurial journey on Instagram at the Entrepreneurial Spirit Guide, or please feel free to send me an email at the.entrepreneurialspiritguide@gmail.com. Every connection is a part of a greater unfolding, and your story could be the gentle spark that lights the way for someone else's next step. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Entrepreneurial Spirit Guide Podcast. As you walk your spiritual journey, let this guide you. True connection isn't about collecting contacts. It's about building the types of relationships that feel aligned, uplift your spirit, and are part of your unfolding journey, wherever it may lead. Next week, we close out season one with a special reflection: invitation to the unknown, stepping into the sacred unfolding. It will be a sacred pause, a space to honor how far we've journeyed together and to explore the quiet courage it takes to step forward into the unseen, guided by trust, intuition, and the gentle unfolding of what's meant for us. Until next time, stay inspired, stay intentional, and keep moving forward with purpose. Remember that the magic of networking lies in building connections that truly matter. So keep showing up, keep connecting, and let the magic unfold. You got this.